And I'll recognize the ranking member of the committee, the gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Raskin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My colleague just spoke of apparently a Muslim family where there was an effort to kill their own daughter in a so-called honor killing, if I understand it correctly. Murder is against the law in America. Whether the parents are Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, or anything else. Would we, Mr. Blair, would we need a special law to deal with a situation like that, or does the universal secular law against murder take care of that?
The current law takes care of that right now.
Good, okay. So I'm looking at an article about a Christian group, an extremist Christian group that calls themselves the Army of God, that's taken credit for bombing abortion clinics and lesbian night bars. Do we need a special law against Christian extremism or Christian violence, or do we just hold them to the general secular law against blowing up health clinics and bars?
It needs to be held to the same law and to the same standard.
Right. So can you think of any situation where the secular law alone would not handle anybody's legitimate fears that they have of a fundamentalist Christian group, Muslim group, or any other religious group?
Unless it's based off of the ideology of either the district attorney or the judge themselves, whether they adjudicate or not. That's going to be the difference, whether that process itself allows for the adjudication of that crime. As I said in my testimony, a crime is still a crime regardless of the religion.
Great, and you know, stated at the level which you wrote it, I agree with a lot of what you said. You just basically said we've got to hold everybody to the secular law. Is there anybody on the panel who thinks that we need a special law addressing any particular religious population, whether it's the Muslim, the Christian, the Jewish, the Hindu, the Mormon, or what have you? Or are we just saying that everybody should be held to secular law in America? And I'm happy to open it up to anybody. Mr. Hunter Lopez.
Thank you, Congressman, for the question. I think that you keep referring to a secular law. I think it's important to point out, I believe it was 56 of the 57 Declaration of Independence signers were Bible-believing, faith church-attending Christians. I believe it was the first original 13 colonies that required a declaration of faith. So I'm not acknowledging that.
Well, wait a second. Now you're traversing my territory now, Mr. Hunter Lopez. You brought it up. Are you aware that the Constitution of the United States does not establish a religion? It forbids the establishment of religion. Are you aware that it doesn't mention God?
So the Declaration of Independence mentions God 4 times. But what I was going to say—
Is the Declaration of Independence law?
So Declaration of Independence was declaring our independence from the tyranny of England.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to finish is that I'm not, suggesting that we need to go back to taking, tests or saying that you have to acknowledge.
Wait, do you know that Thomas Jefferson was denounced as an infidel who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Because he didn't believe in the establishment of religion, and he and Madison were emphatic about separating church and state. That's the whole glory of our constitutional design in our history, that they rebelled against centuries of religious warfare between the Catholics and the Protestants, and witchcraft trials, Inquisition, holy crusades. America proclaimed the separation of church and state. What Thomas Jefferson described in his famous letter to the Danbury Baptists as a wall of separation.
That was a letter, not a law.
Okay, so your position is that America is a theocracy?
You didn't let me finish my original statement, and I understand you have limited time, but what I was going to say is I'm not suggesting we need to go back to anything that's in writing, but what I am saying is we need to acknowledge—
Oh, I think we should go back to something in writing. I think we should go back to the First Amendment.
Oh, yes, the Constitution,
yes,
obviously, but what I'm saying is that, how I said original colonies were requiring declaration of faith to run for office. I'm not saying we have to go back to that.
That's why we have a First Amendment.
But what I'm saying is that we do—
That's precisely why Jefferson wrote it.
We do need to acknowledge our Christian heritage in America. That's what I'm trying to—
You can acknowledge whatever heritage you want, but you can't impose an establishment of religion on other people. That's the greatness.
I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying we need to acknowledge our heritage. That's what I'm saying.
Everybody can acknowledge their own heritage. Do you agree with that?
American heritage, not just any heritage, is what I'm saying.
Oh, you don't think that you're allowed to acknowledge your Christian heritage or your Jewish heritage or your Muslim heritage?
I'm saying you members of Congress need to acknowledge American heritage.
Yes, indeed. And you know how we do that? By abiding by the Constitution of the United States, which is why that's exactly where I began. Ms. Tyler, what do you think about this whole anti-Sharia law thing? Do we need a special law banning Sharia law?
No, because we have the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution that prohibits establishment of any religion, including Islam.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back to you within 5 minutes.
I thank the ranking member, and I appreciate that spirited exchange.